Hello, welcome to Optimal You, your nutrition guide. Today, we're diving into a compound that's been a big deal in Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine for, well, thousands of years. But now it's making some serious waves in the modern world. We're talking about berberine. It's extracted from plants like golden seal and barberry, and chances are you're probably starting to see it pop up everywhere. And that, of course, leads us to the big question everyone's asking. Could this ancient herb really be the secret to metabolic health? That's exactly what we're going to explore. But before we get into any of the cool potential benefits, we absolutely have to start with a critical safety alert. So, before we even dream of touching on the potential upsides, it is absolutely essential that we cover the safety warnings first. You've got to understand, this isn't some harmless little vitamin. It's a powerful, biologically active compound, and for some people, it's just plain not safe. And right here, this is the single most important safety message in this entire explainer. Please listen closely. Medical experts strongly advise against using berberine if you are pregnant or breastfeeding. This is not a casual suggestion, okay? It is a very serious warning. So you're probably wondering what's behind this warning. Well, for one, berberine can actually cross the placenta to the fetus, and it can also pass into breast milk. Some research even points to it possibly initiating uterine contractions, which could increase the risk of miscarriage. But honestly, the biggest concern revolves around a chemical called bilirubin. See, the real danger here is that berberine might mess with how a newborn's tiny liver processes that bilirubin. If it builds up, it can lead to something called kernicterus, which is a rare but truly devastating type of brain damage. The risk, as you can imagine, is just not worth it, period.
And the cautions don't just stop there. It should never, ever be given to infants or young children. Plus, since berberine is processed by your liver and kidneys, it can interact with a whole host of medications. We're talking especially about drugs for diabetes, blood pressure, and blood thinners. Oh, and it's also vital to stop taking it at least 2 weeks before any scheduled surgery.
All right, now that we've established those absolutely critical safety warnings, let's switch gears and explore the other side of the coin. Because for the right people, and always under medical supervision, berberine shows some really significant potential, especially when it comes to metabolic health. So where does berberine really shine? Well, its most well-studied benefit by far is its effect on blood sugar regulation. There is a growing mountain of clinical research that highlights its potential for improving insulin resistance and helping to manage type 2 diabetes. And just take a look at this chart from a major 2008 study. It shows you just how powerful that effect can be. In newly diagnosed diabetics, berberine dropped their HbA1c, that's the key measure of long-term blood sugar control, by a full 2 points. And that was in just 3 months. That is a huge improvement, taking them from a very poorly controlled level down to a much, much more manageable one. But wait, the metabolic benefits don't stop with blood sugar. Research also shows berberine can have a really positive impact on blood lipids, the fats in your blood that are major risk factors for heart disease. It's been shown to lower total cholesterol, knock down the bad LDL cholesterol, and it seems to have a particularly strong effect on lowering triglycerides. So you're probably asking, how on earth does it do all of this? Let's take a look at the science, but we'll keep it simple. Okay, so a huge part of berberine's magic comes from its ability to activate an enzyme called AMPK. The easiest way to think of AMPK is as your body's metabolic master switch. When you flip this switch on, it basically tells your cells, hey, start pulling more glucose from the blood and start burning more fat for energy. This one single action is behind so many of berberine's benefits. Now, its effect on cholesterol is also really fascinating and pretty unique. It works differently than statins. What berberine does is it stabilizes the instructions, the messenger RNA, that tell your liver to make LDL receptors. With more stable instructions, your liver just produces more of these receptors. And with more receptors on its surface, your liver can literally reach out and pull more of that bad LDL cholesterol right out of your bloodstream. Pretty cool, right? All right, now for what might just be the most interesting comparison of all. How does this ancient herbal compound really stack up against metformin, which is the go-to first-line prescription drug for type 2 diabetes? This quote comes from that same 2008 study we've been talking about, and listen to this. The researchers found that when it came to lowering blood sugar, berberine's effect was similar to metformin's.
I mean, that's a really powerful statement for a natural compound.
And when you look at the actual data from that trial, Wow, the story gets even more compelling. Yeah, berberine actually produced a slightly larger drop in HbA1c. But now look at the lipids. Berberine caused a significant drop in both triglycerides and total cholesterol, while metformin's effect, well, it was basically negligible.
This data led the researchers to a very direct and pretty stunning conclusion. They said that while both were effective for blood sugar, when it came to improving blood fats, berberine's activity was, and I quote, better than metformin. Okay, so we've covered the very serious risks and we've covered the very promising benefits. Let's try and bring this all together. What is the bottom line here? What's the final takeaway? Ultimately, it really all boils down to this one single question. After hearing everything we've just discussed, is berberine a good choice for you? And you know what? The only responsible answer I can give you is this. That is a conversation you need to have with your doctor or another qualified healthcare professional. Berberine has drug-like effects, it can interact with medications, and as we've seen, it's just not safe for everyone. Trying to self-prescribe this is not a wise or a safe choice. For educational purposes only, this content is not medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional or doctor before starting any new supplement, diet, or health regimen. Optimal You is not responsible for any actions taken based on this video.